For a governor's seat, you need hundreds of millions, so you can see the cost of vying. I think an MP is supposed to raise how much to vie? Kuna mtu ambaye alisikia hiyo taarifa? Masese is going to be talking about IEBC later, but IEBC has a mandate to regulate expenditure on election campaigns. But when you look at that Gazette notice, the figures there are in hundreds of millions, if not tens of millions for an MP seat, for an MCA. Even becoming an MCA is damn expensive in this country. So due to the patriarchal nature of our society, again, men are the ultimate decision makers and controllers of the economy or economic resources. Then over time, they've had a greater economic opportunity to mobilize these financial resources and to cater for these expensive political campaigns. So sometimes the cost of campaigning also makes it difficult for women to vie for political seats. Then party primaries. Wangapi wetu tumeshaenda party primaries? Let me just see by a show of hand. Zilikuwa namna gani hizo party primaries? Just 2 people to tell us their experience. How are they? And you need a strong team because they are very chaotic, eh? So you have to run for your life, eh? So that there is violence already there. Any other person who wants to share what happened in the party primaries? Mali ulienda? Yes, Moha. Eh? Mwenye nguvu umpishe, ya? Ultimately wananchi watakuja wapige kura, lakini pia ni mwenye nguvu ndio atapita, ya? So our party primaries are not only violent, but they are also very undemocratic. Wakati mwingi inakuanga mwenye atapewa hiyo nomination ashaamuliwa kitambo, sivyo? So ni kulingana ni tufanye hii, it becomes like a formality. Chama ilifanya party primaries, but really the interest is not to nurture democracy from the grassroots. Ama ili wananchi wapate the leader that they want. Inakuwa iko influenced from the top. So in most cases, as I said, the outcome is predetermined. The belief that each party must field a strong candidate is often interpreted to mean that there is a preference to male candidates as opposed to female candidates. And maybe perhaps someday we will have a round table and really hear from female candidates, the kind of things that they had to go through, especially those that got party nominations. Kwa sababu chama inataka kutafuta mtu ambaye ako very strong kwa ground, who has a very high chance to win. And often that disadvantages women. Direct nominations pia tend to benefit men because of male domination in parties. So I just picked a few of the challenges that female candidates go through. The list can go on, but I just picked 4. So when we think about the journey to putting in place a gender law, what has been happening since tupitisha ile katiba ya 2010? Wakati tulipitisha katiba yetu 2010, ambayo ilisema ya kwamba the state iko na kazi ya kuensure ya kwamba we have a legislative framework ya kutusaidia kuachieve ile 2/3 in national in the parliament. 2011 tukawa na Mutula Kilonzo ambaye alitengeneza bill. Hiyo bill ilienda ikaanguka. 2012 Attorney General siku ilikuwa Professor Githu Muigai, akaenda Supreme Court. Haja yake ilikuwa kujua Supreme Court inasema vipi. Lazima hii gender law tuweze kuiweka in place immediately. So wakati huo Supreme Court ikasema ya kwamba parliament iko na miaka 5 wakuwe wamefanya nini? Wametengeneza hiyo sheria. Hiyo miaka 5 ilikuwa inapita on 27th August 2015. 2014 kukawa Attorney General, the NGEK, wakatengeneza a technical working group waweze kufikiria kuangalia ni mikakati ipi ambayo inafaa, ni vipi ambavyo tunaweza pata hii sheria, ama ni formula ipi ambayo tunaweza tumia kuachieve the 2/3 gender. So hii technical working group walitengeneza 8 proposals, na hizo 8 proposals ni hizi. Ya kwanza, Article 177, tukianza niliwauliza kama county assembly zetu ziko compliant na the 2/3 gender rule. Ukweli ni kwamba ziko compliant kwa sababu katiba iliweka mikakati ya kuwawezesha kunominate. Kama hapa Nakuru tulichagua 3 elected. Tulichagua, I think there are 3 or something. The elected ones. If we elected 8, then we needed to nominate at least 10 more ili tuweze kuachieve the 2/3 gender rule. So the formula for county assemblies iko, ndio hii iko hapa katika article 177 B and C. So hii TWG ama technical working group kitu walisema, waliipa kipaumbele, wakaambia parliament badala ya kusumbuka na formulas mingi, just lift article 177 and put it in article 97 and 98 of the constitution, ambayo itatuwezesha tusipochagua kina mama wa kutosha pale National Assembly, then vyama viweze ku nominate mpaka tufikie ile namba ambayo inatakikana tuwe compliant. Kisha kukakuwa na suggestion ya kwamba tuongeze kina mama, increasing the county women seats in the National Assembly. Saizi National Assembly women reps ni wangapi? Tuko na women reps wangapi kwa National Assembly? 47, sivyo? Kukawa na proposal ya kwamba na counties zikichagua maybe kina mama 2 ama 3, hiyo ilikuwa proposal. Kisha kukawa na proportionate county women seats in the National Assembly. Proportionate ni kumaanisha tufanye hesabu, tuangalie ni counties zipi ambazo tutaongeza kina mama na ni zipi ambazo hatutaongeza kina mama. Tukiangalia I think it was the population or something. Kisha kuna idea ya tripling county women seats in the National Assembly. Kukawa kuwe na gender incentives to encourage kina mama wavai for these seats, gender quota for party strongholds. Vyama, hapa ni vyama vihusike, vipewe, kama ni Jubilee wako strong wapi, wanaweza nominate kina mama wangapi. So it depends with the political parties and how strong they are. Rational seats for affirmative actions, tuongeze viti vingine ambavyo pia tutawezesha kina mama kuja through hivyo viti. Voting for a political party ticket, like twinning, so that we have the best runners up awe ni mwanamke. Kisha reconfiguring our constituencies, tuangalie kama hizi 290 constituencies tunaweza zibadilisha, either tuziongeze ama mambo kama hayo. This one required a review of the boundaries. So CSOs pia wamekuwa wakienda kotini. For example 2016 walienda kotini na High Court ikaruli ya kwamba parliament imeshindwa kufanya nini, kupitisha ile sheria. Mambo hayo yote yakifanyika 11th parliament tukakuwa tumefika 2017 bado hatuna sheria. 2017 pia tukawa tumechagua bunge nyingine, the 12th parliament. Wakawa pia hao hawajafikisha ile 2/3 gender rule. So since 2018 tumekuwa na bills mingi ambazo zimeletwa pale bunge kuangalia vile ambavyo tunaweza pitisha hii miswada. Tumesikia kuna bills zinaitwa Duale bill, kulikuwa na Duale bill 1, tukawa na Duale bill 2, tukawa na bill nyingine ya MP anaitwa Mutambo, tukawa na Chepkonga bill. Haya yote, hizi zote zimekuwa efforts za kupitisha the gender bill, na bado hatujapata hiyo bill ikipitishwa pale. But the surprising thing ni kwamba some of these bills wakati zinakuwa debated pale parliament, the parliamentarians ama sijui kani, the political class, let's call them the political class, wanapata njia ya kupunguza ile quorum ya wale watu ambao watakuwa pale kupigia hizo bills kura. So in a nutshell, hiyo ndio safari ambayo tumekuwa nayo katika kutafuta mswada wetu. So mbona bado hatujapata sheria hii ya 2/3 gender rule? Ya kwanza ni kwamba political will hakuna. Na tunaweza ona several instances ambapo tumeona ya kwamba the political class ama wanasiasa wetu hawaonyeshi haja ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba hii bill ama hii sheria imewekwa. Ya kwanza ni mwaka uliopita, we all remember the former Chief Justice aliissue an advisory ya kwamba rais afanye nini? Avunje bunge. Aliivunja kweli? Bado hajaivunja. Kwa sababu pia koti zimeona kuna kesi mingi sana zimefailiwa kotini kuhusu the 2/3 gender rule. But then we are seeing hata baada ya Chief Justice issue a ruling ama an advisory ya kwamba bunge livunjiliwe, bado hiyo haijafanyika. Kisha tunaona pia kuna disregard for technical advice. I pulled a quote from the report from Gingeke. Wakati Chepkonga bill ilikuja parliament, the technical working group, nakumbuka ile ambayo tulisema Attorney General waliform ya kuangalia vile ambavyo hii sheria itawekwa in place. A lot of deliberations were done between your technical working group na the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. But then baada ya hayo mazungumzo yote, wakati Chepkonga bill ilikuja County Assembly, zile recommendations za technical working group zilikuwa zimetupiliwa mbali. So they disregarded the entire process. Kisha, the low quorum in parliament during voting on gender laws is another indication that wakati mwingine unaangalia unaona ya kwamba the political will ya kupitisha hii sheria haiko. Kisha, kuna mambo ya deeply rooted patriarchal attitudes. At one point, the chairman of the JLAC, Samuel Chepkonga, wakati walikuwa wanapitisha hiyo sheria wana debate on the Chepkonga bill, alisema, we cannot force people to do things which they think are not cultural to them. Yeah? Then you also look at the JLAC yenyewe. Wale ambao walikuwa wanaangalia the Chepkonga bill, wana-analyze ili wakuje wa-advise parliament. Majority of them, out of a committee of 29, 25 of them are male. And I have a quote here from Priscilla Nyokabi saying, the bill before this house is nothing but a show of might, that the 25 men of the committee were able to converse, collude, and do many things to bring this bill here today. That shows how much we need more women in parliament. The last one is us, the public. How do we understand the gender, the 2/3 gender principle? Wakati mwingi tunaelewa gender principle kuwa gender is synonymous to women. Ya kwamba tukipitisha hii sheria ni ya kina mama. So there is also the public perception towards that, and also the fear of the unknown. Wakati mwingine hatujui, if we have more women in political leadership, we fear that they will take over men's roles and defeat them in leadership. So quickly, Masesa is telling me my time is up. I want us to look at what we said here. Why wouldn't we vote for a female president? Tumesema kuna irrationality, they are easily swayed, they are petty, they are underperforming, they are mean, they are emotional, they take things personally, they are not understanding. Then we have gender roles, kuna attitudes, kuna emotional outbursts, na kuna mtu alitukotia maandiko hapa, sijui hiyo Isaiah 3:12 inasema nini. So, as we sit here and we reflect on the challenges that we've had with the gender bill, some of these issues that we've had here speak to the perception. Na wale watu tunachagua waende bunge kweli ni watu tofauti? Si ni kama tu sisi? Wako tu na hizi perceptions zote, sivyo? Aya, sawa. So, mimi nataka kuacha na swali moja hapa ambao tutadiscuss kwa plenary. So, what actions can we as citizens take? Ni nini tunaweza fanya kama wananchi to promote and advance the 2/3 gender principle in our country? Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Nadhani utaweka hilo swali kwa mentimeter, ha? Utaweka hilo swali kwa menti ndio lijibiwa haraka baada ya hii. Situmie yako. Asante sana, tupigie Bancy makofi. Good preparation, good presentation. Ndio hiyo presentation ifika hapo, ile document imesomwa ni kama 10. Unaona Chepkonga bill, a technical task force, what mpaka sasa tuko hapa. Na bado kuna wanaume hapa hivi. Hapa hivi kuna wanaume. Mnaona pena point? Hapa hivi kuna wanaume ambao bado wanaendelea tu kusema kwamba uongozi ni wakina mama. Ila hali tunajua kwa kusema ukweli, mwanaume yeyote akitaka kusema tu ukweli, anajua pressure iko wapi. Yeah? Well, so then, Bancy, thanks a lot. And I think we really need to create a dedicated platform to discuss this, so that we appreciate the journey, where we've come from, and where we are, isn't it? We are moving closer. But answer that question Bancy asked you. Answer it on your notebook. Write the answer down on your notebook. Because when we come back to the plenary, we are going to have it very quick. Before I call upon, sometimes I don't, before I call upon Shiko, I often find myself calling her Shiro. I just want us to reflect very quickly on the framework that had been developed to protect the Constitution. Juzi wakati wa BBI, shenanigans, si mambo ya BBI, mmesikia watu wakisema katiba imejitetea. Unakumbuka wakati Supreme Court ilifanya ruling, walisema the Constitution has defended itself. And that is how it was meant to be. That within the Constitution, it has specific provisions that ensures that it will always protect itself from external assault, from political assault. And part of those mechanisms, beside the provisions on amendments, that ensures that you don't just wake up one morning and change the law, regardless to the office you hold. You know, that's what Article 255(6), you know, that's what they are all about. That nobody can wake up one morning and say, we can change this law. Before this Constitution, that's how it used to be. That the president could say, well, under the circumstances, we need to change ABCD. And because it was a one-party rule, it was so easy for the president to dictate to parliament. But then we gave ourselves this Constitution, and despite that self-protecting mechanism, sisi kwa sababu ya tabia yetu mbaya, tukaleta mnyama anaitwa Tyrant of Numbers. You've heard about Tyrant of Numbers? It was a coinage by Mtai Ngunyi, but it uprise that the party that has got majority, and if that party, its leader becomes the president, then parliament effectively ceases to have the capacity to provide oversight. That's what we experienced, particularly in the first and second term. Under Jubilee, that's what we've experienced. That the people who are in parliament can decide any minute what fits them. So do we not have a constitution that made it difficult for anyone to change it? Probably by now, all these things PI was trying to change in the constitution would have been so easily changed. Si ni kweli? Rahisi kwa sababu una Tyrant of Numbers. Hasa wakati huu walikana. Viroliona kina Tumba Murkomen na watu wengine wanatolewa kwa makamati, hivyo ndivyo ingekuwa. Lakini sahidi ya hiyo, katiba pia ili kuhakikisha kwamba nguzo na maadili ambayo imeelezewa kwenye Article 10. Na Omondi ameniambia wengi wenu hapa mlikuwa hapa juzi. Tuesday, nani hakuwa hapa Tuesday? Tuesday nani hakuwa hapa? Wenye hawakuwa hapa najua Article 10 inasema nini, sivyo? Yeah? Wenye hawakuwa hapa kina Rukia na madam wanajua Article 10 inasema nini. Madam, ni ukweli unajua Article 10 inasema nini? Article 10 of the Constitution. Kama ujui utaisoma, National Values and Principles of Governance. Niliona kila desk iko na katiba. Hili kuwezesha hizo National Values and Principles of Governance kufanya kazi, katiba ilitengeneza tume mbalimbali katika chapter 15, na pia ikatengeneza ofisi ambazo ziko na mamlaka za kipekee ili kuhakikisha uwepo ama ili kuwezesha Article 10 kufanya kazi, the national values, ili kufanya kazi ikaweka constitutional commissions, and this the work, the mandate ya hizi commissions rahisi tu ni kutetea katiba na kuhakikisha kwamba tunapata ukatiba. Tuko pamoja? Asubuhi nilisema ukatiba ni nini, ile hali ya kuhakikisha kwamba tunaishi kwa mujibu ama vile ambavyo katiba inasema. Na kwa kifupi tuko na tume kama 10, tukianzia na ile ambayo mimi naipenda zaidi, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, National Equality, National Gender and Equality Commission ambayo inastahili kushughulikia swala hili la usawa wa kijinsia. Kuna Commission on Revenue Allocation ambayo inapeana mwelekeo jinsi ambayo rasilimali ya nchi inastahili kutumika ama kugawa kati ya serikali mbili, national government na pia between county governments. Na the reason is to promote equity. Sasa si equality, equity. Kuhakikisha kwamba kila county inapewa mgao wa rasilimali ya fedha, mgao wa fedha za nchi kulingana na mahitaji yake. Tukubaliane hapo. That's what equity means. So, alafu kunayo ingine inaitwa Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, perhaps one of the oldest. Kuna National Cohesion and Integration Commission kushughulikia swala hili la inclusion, non-discrimination and ethnic cohesion. Na kuna zingine ambazo they are sector specific kama vile National Police Service Commission. Na kidogo ndugu yetu Bwana Bosira asubuhi akiongea alisema kwamba police kuna haja iliwekwa ikuwe huru because zamani ilikuwa inatumika vibaya. And quote me, ilikuwa inatumika vibaya. Is it being used? Is the police service being used? Apart from that, kuna Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission ambayo inasimamia mambo ya kupiga kura na kuelekeza mipaka ya maeneo bunge na maeneo ya kupiga kura zikiwemo wards. Na historia ya hii IEBC wengi wenu mnaijua, na ni muhimu sasa nitairejelea ili kuifanua kwa dakika mbili. Kuna KCAJ, Commission on Administration of Justice, popularly known as the Ombudsman, ambayo ilikuwa yahakikisha kwamba wananchi wanatendewa haki katika public service delivery, na pia ikiwa kuna mhudumu wa umma ambaye anakiuka sheria, basi hawa ndio wanashughulikia malalamiko ya wananchi ama public complaints. But more importantly, wakati tulipitisha the Access to Information Act 2016 ili kuwezesha Article 35 of the Constitution kufanya kazi, pia tulipeana jukumu kwa Ombudsman kuhakikisha kwamba yeyote atakayenyimwa habari na afisa wa umma yeyote anaweza peleka malalamiko kwenye hii tume. So Ombudsman is your protector. Nchi zingine wanasema ni public protector. Zaidi hapo kuna National Land Commission ambayo ilipewa jukumu la kushughulikia swala nyeti la ardhi na kuhakikisha kwamba historical land injustices are redressed, and then land policy is guided in a way that promotes equity, that promotes equality, that promotes sustainability. Istoshe kuna Salaries and Remuneration Commission ambayo jukumu lake ni kuhakikisha kwamba mishahara na maruburubu ya wafanyikazi wa umma inawekwa kwa misingi ambayo ni inaeleweka, misingi ambayo ni objective. Si kama zamani ilikuwa wabunge anaamka one morning, they decide to increase their salaries, they decide to increase their allowances. But then, even with these commissions, do parliamentarians still make unilateral decisions? Hata siku ile ingine walikuwa wanataka kutishia huyu chairperson. Zaidi hapo, now apart from the commissions, kuna service specific commissions kama Public Service Commission, kuna Judicial Service Commission, kuna Teacher Service Commission. Juzi nimesikia vijana wakiambiliwa kwa BBI kwamba kutakuwa na Youth Commission, madaktari walikuwa wanaitisha Health Commission. Hizi ni tume ambazo mamlaka yake yanaangazia huduma fulani, specific services. Na Public Service Commission ni kuajiri wafanyikazi wa umma na kushirikia maslahi yao ya kufanya kazi. Maslahi ikiwemo kama haki zao zitakiukwa, wafanye kazi na taasisi zingine kuhakikisha haki hizo zimelindwa. I'm moving fast because I'm realizing it's getting darker. Now, apart from the commissions, there are independent offices. Kunayo Office of Director of Public Prosecutions. Kuondoa mamlaka, zamani prosecution ilikuwa inafanywa na polisi. Yaani, polisi akushike, polisi akuandikie kesi, polisi achunguze kesi hiyo, polisi apeleke kesi hiyo mahakamani. Ikagunduliwa kwamba haki haingefanya kazi hivyo. It was against the principles of natural justice. So to separate those powers and those functions, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions ikatengenezwa kushughulikia masuala yote ya mashtaka. Office of Control of Budget, Daktari asubuhi aliitaja, kazi yake ni regulate ama control budget. Kabla ya hii katiba, naomba mnisikize, kabla ya hii katiba kulikuwa na Office of Auditor General and Control of Budget. Sasa chini ya hii katiba hizo ofisi mbili ziligawa na mara mbili. Control of Budget akawa kando, Auditor General akawa kando. Kazi ya Control of Budget, mshapitisha bajeti, yeye anaangalia, je, hiyo bajeti inaambatana na sheria ya Public Finance Management of 2012. Hiyo bajeti, Vincent atatufundisha siku zingine, imeandikwa inavyostahili, is it program based? Hiyo budget, does it meet the physical thresholds? Ile mambo tulisema 30% ienda hapa, 30% ifanye hivyo. Alafu wakati mumeanza kutumia pesa, hawa ndio wanaidhinisha expenditure. Kwa hivyo county wakitaka kufanya matumizi, before pesa iflow, Office of Control of Budget ndio wanafanya hivyo. Alafu wanaangalia fiscal discipline according to Article 201 of the Constitution of Kenya, which speaks to principles of public finance management. Isitoshe, kuna Office of the Auditor General ambayo sasa inafanya uhasibu kuhakikisha kwamba pesa za umma zinatumika kwa njia ya kisheria na kwa njia ambayo inaleta yale malengo, effectiveness. Public money is used lawfully, effectively and efficiently, so that money is not spent where it was not budgeted for. Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? Na ofisi zote hizi zinatengeneza reports ambazo zinapeleka kwa parliament na kisha baadaye zinakuwa umma kwa wananchi kuzitumia kuhakikisha kwamba viongozi wao wanatumia mamlaka yao na ofisi zao inavyostahili. Isipokuwa hiyo, kuna halmashauri kama vile Independent Policing Oversight Authority ambayo tulivyoambiwa asubuhi inaangalia jinsi polisi wanafanya kazi yao. Ikumbuke kwamba polisi waliondolewa kuwa police force, wakafanywa kuwa police service. But are they a service or they are force? Now, my last submissions, with all these elaborate mechanisms of promoting constitutionalism, why is it that hatuko karibu na kupata ukatiba? Tutumia IEBC kama mfano. IEBC inasimamia kupiga kura. Katiba imeelekeza jinsi ambayo inastahili kufanya kazi yake. Sheria ya IEBC pia imeelekeza, imepeana mamlaka fulani kwa IEBC. Lakini uchaguzi ni mwaka jana, next year, sorry. Ni mwaka kesho. Ya mwaka ujao. Kufikia leo IEBC kuna commissioners wote. Juzi tu ndio tumeona wakati BBI imeenda Court of Appeal, President akakumbuka one of the rulings of the High Court was IEBC was not queried. Haikuwa na quorum. So ndio tukaona amepiga hatua. Sasa hii watu wamefanyiwa interview, sijui penye imefika, labda mnajua. Sasa hii tukiongea IEBC ilisema inahitaji 40+ billion. Na tumewasikia wakisema kwamba hawajapewa bajeti ambao wanastahili kuwawezesha kufanya kazi yao. Labda hii pesa itafika miezi 2-3 to elections. Katika wakati huo watakuwa na enough time ya kufanya procurement of technology, ya kufanya mambo mengine ambayo itawafanya wajiandae kikamilifu kufanya uchaguzi. So tunaona kwamba kidogo executive inalemaza tume hii ya kupiga kura, ya mipaka na upigaji wa kura. Na inawalemaza kwa njia hii: kwanza, inawanyima fedha kwa wakati unaofaa; pili, haiwaharakishi taratibu ambazo zitawezesha wao kufanya kazi, ikiwemo swala hili la kuhakikisha kwamba commissioners wako ofisini kwa wakati unaofaa. Tatu, unapata kwamba wale ambao wanawekwa kuwa commissioners si watu ambao wanaweza kuwa independent. They say he who pays the piper dances to. Hiyo ni kitu tulisoma class 4 wakati tulikuwa tunasoma Safari English course. Sasa kwa wakati huu imefika kwamba yule ambaye ana determine who becomes a commissioner then deliberately chooses weak commissioners. Na hayo ni mambo utapata amejirudia. Angalia NEC, who's the chairperson of National Gender and Equality Commission? Ni nani chairperson? Madam nani? Priscilla. Sini Priscilla Nyokavi? Tulimuona hapa. Priscilla Nyokavi alikuwa nini? She was the former woman representative, Nyeri County, sivyo? Priscilla Nyokavi campaigned to be elected woman representative. She failed, isn't it? Alafu alipofeli ndio akafanywa nini? Chairperson wa National Gender and Equality Commission. Na alikampeni kwa tiketi gani? Jubilee. So when she becomes chairperson, unafikiria atakuwa akiimba wimbo wa nani? She's probably not going to cut against the grain ya Jubilee and the party leader. Let's look at the CAJ. Chairperson wa CAJ ni nani? Sijui kama alibadilika Gedhai. Florence Kajuju. Thank you. Florence Kajuju alikuwa nani? Women rep wa? Hapo ndio utaenda kulalamika useme kwamba nimefanyiwa, nimedhulumiwa. Lakini yule ambaye ameshikilia wadhifa huo ni nani? Haya, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Mpaka jana, actually it was the day before yesterday, ndio president ameweza kugazeti vacancies kwa commission. The Kenya National Human Rights Commission for 2 years haijakuwa na commissioners. Na hawa ndio wanapitisha sera na policy, sera, bajeti na mambo mengine ya hii commission. Na hawa ndio wanatarajiwa kulopi for budget allocation. So ikiwa kwamba tumeachiria serikali itawale hizi tume vile inavyostahili, je, tutatumainia kwamba tume hizi zitakuwa huru kweli? That's the question I'm asking you. And we've seen that being extended to bodies outside government. For example, trade unions. Mumeona how systemically government and the political class has weakened Kenya National Union of Teachers. I was trained to be a teacher. And I know what KNUT had done. Tukiwa na Ng'ok. Ng'ok siwe ni mwalimu. Gedhai siwe ni mwalimu. Sisi wote ni members wa NAT. Lakini tumeona tu tukitizama TSC wakifanya kazi na wanasiasa wengine mpaka Sosioni akalia machozi. Sema Sosioni wept. Na hayo yote yakifanyika inalemaza walimu, hawawezi dai haki zao. Tumeona KPMDU juzi jana walishikwa, sivyo? Si walikula tear gas. So tukiona the political class interfering with citizens' formations meant to protect the rights of citizens, and we keep quiet, that's how we are growing back the gains of constitutionalism. Going back to IPC so that Shiko can be coming forward, is that we are staring at a tragedy. If we do not do anything now as citizens to protect the independence of IPC, tukiendelea kunyamaza, tulisikia juzi baba na watu wake wakisema, anaitwa aje huyu mtu? Jebukati. Tukisema hivyo kwa wakati huu, tutakuwa na muda gani tena wa kutengeneza IBC? Alafu saa hii tumeona budget ilipitishwa, IBC ilitengewa pesa ngapi? Who knows? Who has read the budget policy statement ya 2021, 2022? Ya 2022, 2023 ilitangazwa juzi. So ikiwa kwamba IBC haitawezesha kuandaa kwa uchaguzi wa 2022 inavyofaa, na sisi tunajua hivyo na tunanyamaza, tunatazamia uchaguzi ama tunatazamia drama? Alafu tuanze kublame nani? Chebukati, tuseme ni IBC, sivyo? Ilhali tuliona yote haya yakipangwa tukitazama. So wenzangu, my clarion call to you, these things that are happening now, it behoves us to come out and call out government. Shiko, we gave you a very difficult job. It's because we know how good you are. Before we can have the closing session ceremony, we want Shiko to very quickly wrap up by consolidating the key issues that have emerged. Then I have assigned someone to document that so well, so that we have a solution statement from this gathering here today. Thank you so much.
Habari zenyu. My sister, someone was lifting their hand. I don't know.
Okay, good afternoon all. This is a burning issue that has come across my mind when my learned friend was presenting there about 2/3 gender balance. Under natural law of justice. Now, let me talk now as a researcher, not as a border guy. Kindly. Katika ile hali ya kikawaida, you will find that death rate, birth rate, kuna imbalance. Women wako juu, chini. The same applies to the other side, hivyo. Now, in a nutshell, what it tends to mean, population of Kenya now, we have imbalance where women wako 57%, almost 50, female they are 53%, male 47%. Now, in Kenya here, or let me take Nakuru County, if you go to every polling station, you will find the number of women is very high than the number of male. That is a fact. That's a proven fact. For all polling stations, almost all of them. Now, this is my point. This 2/3 gender, where is it supposed to start from? This 2/3 gender is supposed to start from at the time of voting, not after voting. People who are voting, you should take the gender from there. The reason why I'm saying this, women there are so many, and they can elect one of their own very easily. But they don't do that. Now, hapa sasa ndio kuna makosa kubwa ambayo yanafanyika. After voting, women, there are so many wameshinda kuchaguana wenyewe, we go the other side. Because of two that's gender, tunawachukua.
Huyu anaitwa nani? Unaitwa nani?
No, I'm finishing up.
James.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that. Now unakuja kwa point. You say now like in Nakuru County, if you go to because of gender, unachagua gender, these people that are taking for gender purposes, hao ndio governors wanatumia.
Thank you.
Kupitisha miswada zao.
Asante sana.
Na kufanya sisi tunarudi penye tulikuwa.
Sawa kabisa. Asante sana.
Because they were not elected, they were forced there.
Sorry, Gedaya, no, I've made your work difficult. Chiteri, you know you have a point, only that you didn't see that part. Ya ngazi. Ukuona hiyo part ya ngazi. Yeah, well, take your time, Bancy. Bancy, I request upe Chiteri ile ngazi, umprintie peke yake. Akae chini ya itafukali, because I think that's what he didn't see. That's what he didn't see.
Hey, habari zenyu. Habari zenyu. Hatutatoka hapa hadi mwamke. Habari zenyu. Aya, tusimame tu stretch kidogo. Ama mnataka tu dance imebamba? Hiyo ndio umekuwa ukifikiria the whole session. Aya, stretch. Uliza mwenzako kama aliona ngazi. Uliza mwenzako kama ngazi ili make sense. Aya, alafu tuketi. Ili make sense? Aya, tuketi. Najua tumechoka, wengine wameform kamati za story. Mimi ukipiga story utakuja kunisaidia kupiga story hapa mbele. Ukilala pia utakuja kunisaidia kulala hapa mbele. Tunakuanga hivyo, si ndio? So, nimepewa kazi, nimeambiwa ni important, but nataka kuisema kama a short story. Tumekuwa tukiongea kuhusu constitution kutoka Tuesday, leo ni Friday, si ndio? Hiyo story kwa hapo ni fiti. Utakuja kutuambia ni nini? Utaka mkutupia story hapa? To focus. Aya. So, tumekuwa tukiongea kuhusu constitution, si ndio? 11 years of constitution 2010, si ndio? Tuko sawa? Tuko pamoja? Tuko sawa? Mimi nimwambia tutarudia hadi mwamke msikize. James, utapewa ngazi. Tukue pamoja, si ndio? Aya. A short story. In 2005, first referendum, when they spoke about green na red, no, machungwa na ndizi, si ndio? I was in class 5. Kwa hivyo sikujua what was happening. The much I remember ni matunda. And the much I can associate with ni chungwa because we still sing it to date, right? And I also remember watermelon for whatever reason hiyo ilikwama. And then the other one was in 2010. In 2010, when that was happening, I was in Form 2. So I was a first-time voter in 2013. So when I came out, I voted in a new regime. I voted in a new system of operation, not what I studied in school. Shule tulisoma nini? Provinces. Ni wajuzi. Tulisoma provinces. Nikirudi nilikuja kuvotia counties, right? So I had a long list of people wenye siku wanajua wanavotiwa kwenda kufanya nini. But I had to vote because I knew voting is what happens. At least kila mtu anajuanga either una associate na rangi ama ile wimbo ina trend or something, si ndio? Wengine wetu tulivote kwa sababu we are all idiots and we go for the festival. It's called the Idiots Festival. So that's why we sell ourselves to the devil. So the question I beg to ask is, to the generation ya kina Masese who are putting us on the spot, where did the rain start beating us? It's where you people never handed over the history to us. We have a generation of over 6 million people who will be voting in 2022, new voters. Do you know what that means? Tutenda dance kibamba kwa ballot, and then we'll be complaining for the next 10 years. But then, the most key important things that came out about the Constitution 2010, that I also take pride in, I've read it for the last 5 years, so I'm proud of myself, is that this document came to assure us of better access to improved services. Have we gotten this? Amtajibu? Tumepata better improved services? Bado, si ndio? But then we can also say that through devolution, we hoped that this would be achieved. We hoped that we will achieve the spirit of the Constitution by making sure that we access these services at our localities, because we pay taxes to our localities, si ndio? But unfortunately, we devolved greed. Unfortunately, we devolved corruption. That is why 1 year later, 20 days that Mr. President promised, bado COVID millionaires are still building big flats in Nairobi and Nakuru. Si ndio? The other thing I want to talk about is inclusion and recognition of diversity. Has this been achieved? Tumeacha kupea watu kazi juu ni wa kabila letu ama wametoka kwetu? Amta nijibu bado, ni saa 10 amtaenda home. Hatujaacha, si ndio? Kuna mtu ananijibu lakini analala for the better part naongea. That's a good person. So there's progress, yes. We can see that in Lamu, parts of Nakuru, and maybe Nairobi. But a majority of our counties are still electing and appointing their families, their tribesmen, and all these. And this is the question that we would want to even go back and ask ourselves. Since 2007-2008 PEV and the rift that came with it tribally, have we recovered from that? Or are we still taking this to the next conversation that we are calling BBI or whatever we call it? Kuna accountability. So this one for me is a question to us. What is the role we play in making sure that our counties and our national government is accountable? We talked of COVID millionaire, pesa wakaiba, tukabaki tukingoja sindano, si ndio? Almost 2 years later, bado wengine wetu tunangoja sindano. Na wengine wetu tunataka kujua kama tutapata the second dose ama tutachanganyiwa na Johnson & Johnson, si ndio? But then at the end of the day, we elect leaders who sell our country to the dogs. We elect greed, we elect corruption, we elect tribes. And then what happens? Munaendelea kuimba, oh, watoto wetu hawasomi, now your MCAs are back giving you 2,000 bob for bursaries. Na mnafurahi sana. That's your tax. Ask yourself, the money you've paid since they got into power, what has it done for you? There's also the question of our selfish leaders. Tumeona barabara zinajengwa. Najua watu wa Nakuru East mumeona barabara nyingi sana all of a sudden. MCA wenyu wamekuja kuambia wanawajengea barabara, si ndio? Na wanawauliza, na wanawaambia mkiwachagua miaka ingine 5 watafanya zaidi. Ask yourself what they've been doing for the last 10 or 5 years. Because those roads are not theirs. There is more they could have done, right? And it's your right to get the roads, si ndio? There's also the question of gender. Kuna kuanga na kakitu. Can I see, kama, if you identify as a woman, can you please raise your hand? Weka mkono yako juu. If you identify as a woman, raise your hand. Awa wengine ni nani non-conforming? It's fine also. Do you feel like you've participated enough in this process? No, mama Ian umesema hapana. Why? Huh? This entire, mumekuwa mkifanya hapa nini? Kukula tu na kuketi? This has been a process, right? We've learned, right? So have you participated enough? You need another day and you're sleeping. That's a good one. Someone else? It's not, we've not participated enough. If we are to talk about the realization of gender equality, we need to stop trying to find gender and start including. We need to start the process from where we stay, how we do our things, from our offices, from our homes to wherever we go, right? And the realization of this will help us also uphold and relieve the spirit of the Constitution 2010. Masese, I don't know if I've done justice. I believe so. Thank you.
She kept writing notes, lakini amesimama hapa na taarifa. Shiko ni mtu wa TV. Naam.
Moses, thank you for sleeping the entire session. I said that. Thank you very much. I said exactly that. Kwa hivyo ulikuwa
Moses.
nakuelewa.
Moses, sasa ni mimi niko na microphone, tupigie Shiko makofi. Those who know Shiko, you know the journey she has traveled, and we all know what she aspires, and what she, inspires. What she aspires and what she inspires. Oeba was a poet before you. So umesikia? Inspire, aspire. Hiyo inaitwa rhyme. Haya. Asante sana. Now, we want to have any Chiteri, had you waited? Ungengojea. This is the time I was going to give you the mic. But wewe ulikuja mbele. So this is the time I want very quick additions, reflections, and I'm going to map. Good thing I know my flock. I'm the shepherd that knows his flock.
Okay. Amjambo. Najua tumechoka. Lakini my point ama my observation is I would like to see it from this perspective. Ni kwamba we must come up with some practical lessons that ule mama mboga anaweza tumia in terms of making our leaders accountable. Because there are other issues, they are so big. The other issues that are so big that Mama Mboga cannot make our leaders to be accountable. So if we can come up with some other stories that are practical in terms of making Mama Mboga to account our leaders, the better. Asante.
Asante. But before you sit, Laban, give us one suggestion. That's where we are. Now, that's where you are. Give us one practical proposal that would enable Mama Mboga first to elect the right leader, because you are talking about leadership, and then to hold that leader to account. It's just one proposal. It's a good point you raised. That's why I'm giving you an extra time.
Can you allow me to think and phrase it in a short format?
Oh, okay. Sawa. Madam here can help. Thank you so much.
It's creating awareness.
Creating awareness.
Yes.
Haya, asante. Kuna kitu tuliongea jana, weba ulikuwa sio? Ile mjadala wa jana online niliwaona. Kuna mtu aliongea kuhusu civic education. Tukasema tumechoka na civic education, haijabadilisha mambo. Sasa tufanye political education. A minute ago, Bancy was telling me we need to change how we sensitize communities. We need to show them what an election means in monetary terms. What an election means to their lives and their livelihoods. And so that's what we call political education. Si ile kitu tunasema kupiga kura ni X. Yes, that's important because we do not want spoiled votes. But then, what does that X mean to our life as Mama Mboga? So that we bring in the issues Moses was raising. Mheshimiwa anakuja anawaambia, "Umeona nimewatengeneza hii barabara." Yeah? When we know that indeed CA anafanya nini? Anatengeneza ni huyu Mama Mboga kupitia ile pesa analipa ushuru kwa soko. Ndio inafanya hiyo barabara. Ili kwamba maendeleo iwache kutumika kama kichochezi, kitu ambayo inatufanya tupumbae, tukue wapumbavu, tuendelee kufanya mambo kama haya. Tuko pamoja? So I agree with you. Any other feedback, quick one? At the back, is that a hand? Yes. And then Rukia, Vincent Tanui. Karoga, you must speak for young people.
Okay.
And then Parasa must speak for the generation right behind me.
Okay, good evening. My issue is on the SDG goals. We had the sustainable development goals that were given by the UN back in September 2015. And there was the one that was SDG 9 to be specific. It was talking on the innovation infrastructure, and also there was one that was involving the youth. And if you read the session paper of 2005, they said that 25% of tenders or procurement by the government should be given to the youth and the public sector. Like, let me say the Juakali sector. But we are not seeing that. Like, how is the government incorporating the youths in sustaining this SDG? Because it was to be achieved by 2030, yet here we are almost in 2030 and we don't see anything as the youths. We want the tenders because we have the proposals, but we can't have the ability to face the government because we are afraid as the youths.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, young lady. And I like your grasp of the global development framework. Yes, the sustainable development goals. And of course, closer home, hapa kwetu tuko na vision 2030. Na hapa kwetu tuko na AGPO. There is a policy called AGPO, Access to Government Procurement Opportunities, that says 30% of all public tenders should be ring-fenced for women, youth and persons with disabilities. Hapa nyumbani penye tuko na pesa inaitwa Youth Enterprise Development Fund, tuko na Uwezo Fund, we have all those things. So the question to ask, why are these opportunities not being seized by the youth for the empowerment? Why are we allowing people my age to do government tenders that were meant for young people, for women and persons with disabilities? I would wish to challenge the young people. Very good. I like it when I provoke those like that. I like it when I provoke those like that. We have answers. No, I don't need answers. I need questions.
I have the mic here.
Wait, I know where I'm serving you. No, go. I know where I'm serving you.
You've asked a question, huh? Why are you, the likes of Masese, at your age, still being incorporated under youth, women, and, fund to take charge of these things? It trickles down from the government. Our representative in the East African community for youth, ni nani? So how do you even expect hapa chini yet huko juu mnachagua wazee kusimamia vijana?
Umeuliza swali mzuri. Tufanye hivi. Tunataka tufanye hivi. Waja tusikize, musiseme mambo ya Nakuru. Musiseme mambo ya Nakuru na yule mama alifanywa CEC. Yule mama alifanywa CEC wa culture, gender, sports and the youth affairs. There's no such a thing like CC for youth. Ni CC for youth affairs.
Okay, I came in a bit late, and my apologies for that. But you know that I'm very committed to the cause. Anyway, I wanted to deduce that from this meeting, I can see that kila mtu mwenye amealikwa hapa ni mtaalamu. Hakuna mtu mwenye sio mtaalamu.
Kweli.
People are here, people are leaders, people are activists. Kila mtu mwenye yuko hapa believes in the cause. But how many of us are ready to take the journey, to walk the talk? Like we've discussed a lot of things here. How many people are ready to cascade that information? Tuko hapa na masheikh. How many of them are ready to go and stand at the pulpit and preach the same before the Friday prayer? Number two, all of us who are here, why don't we take it out of the boardroom and to the ground? We have young people out there who have absolutely no idea. We've conducted the research. We know. From the organization level, we know. The knowledge of the Constitution down there is absolutely zero, if not negative. Then talking about even the difference of levels of power from national government to local government, that's the county government, nobody knows. You talk about youth fund here, and somebody goes to the youth affairs director of the county and asks him for the youth enterprise fund. We've seen that happen.
Let me make those proposals. Number one, we need to conduct thorough mass political education, targeting especially the youth. Proposal. That's what, we are not asking questions anymore. We are giving answers. Number two, I'm paraphrasing provisions. Number two, we need 2 speak more to the economic issues, the empowerment issues, because the political gap comes because of the widening poverty gap. That's the reality. And government has made it deliberate to keep people poor so that it buys them cheap. Hakuna kitu ingine. Don't think beyond the nose. It just ends there. That you must be kept struggling so that you don't see beyond your table room needs and perhaps, if you go far, your bedroom needs. So, to break that cycle, we must be deliberate. And that's where Koigi started, and it has been crowned up by Mheshimiwa Rukia. And Mheshimiwa Rukia tells us to use available spaces, including pulpits. Pulpit ya mosque inaitwaje? Hiyo, tutumie maeneo ambao tunahubiria kufikia Wakenya wengi, ili kwamba zote tuweze kubadilishwa nia. We are close to ending. I want to see how many hands are up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Karuga nilikupea chance. 5, 6. 1 second each. Okay. Aha, yes. Baba yako huko. Taanza huko, turudi kwa huyu You would answer it.
Okay.
Yeah, you would answer it. You must have this.
Okay, amjambo. Na mbele yangu ni mafupi sana na tunapeana way forward. Tangu juzi tukiwa hapa tumekuwa tukizungumzia katiba. Na kitu ya kwanza tuliangalia katiba, tuliangalia chapter 1 ya katiba. Chapter 1 ya katiba inakupatia mimi na wewe fursa, power, nafasi ya kutetea ama kutekeleza jambo lolote lile ambalo unatamania litekelezwe katika mtaa wako ambao unatoka. So kila ambacho ningesema ni kwamba take action. Ukitoka hapa just take action. Tuache kucomplain, tuache kulament. The power is with us. Asante.
Very good. Thank you. Very quick. As quickly as he has done.
Okay, thank
Please,
you.
sir.
My name is Brian, and my concern is about the youth. You know, when you tell us about those tenders, actually, hatuna hiyo capital. Most of us are suffering with Fuliza, Tala, everything is about. If we could have a certain fund imewekwa inatusaidia, at least tunapewa kalon kidogo. Because those loans, youth enterprises umetuambia, some of them even are not accessible. They are not accessible to youth. So I emphasize on this. At least the government should make sure youths, hata ikiwa ajiwezi, anaweza kuconnect na the government.
So thank you very much. Number 3, and I feel you. I think one of these days it behoves us to just have conversations on the youth. Okay, that was number 2, eh? 3?
Yeah, with regards to her question on the procurement opportunities for the youth, yes, there is the
Weka microphone hapa.
Okay.
Ongea tu, watakusikia.
Okay, with regards to her question on procurement opportunities for the youth, yes, we have the access to government procurement opportunities, and that question was actually raised on Tuesday, and Mr. Vincent said the challenge has been the youth, it has been the youth, finding people who have actually companies. So I don't know if it's for us who should take the initiative and start our own companies so that we are able to access these government procurement opportunities.
Sawa, that was number 3. Number 4, as we go to number 4, is to say that the youth have challenges, and that is one of the ways we can address that. But there's a lot more that needs to be done. Mnasikia? There's a lot more that needs to be done. You are the youth. I'm a father of the youth, and I'm a former youth. Once upon a time, hatukuzaliwa hivi, tulikuwa youth. We raised questions then. You are raising questions now, but we need to have an honest conversation. This is number 4.
Oh, yeah, first I wanted to disagree with Bernice. I think youth have companies. It's just hata wana apply hizo tenders, but they never get pre-qualified because there's already someone mwenye hiyo pesa ama hiyo tender atapatiwa. because I know a lot of youth when you're on companies, but they're not able to get work. But anyway, my point was, I wanted to reiterate what Bancy said about the gender role. That people associate gender role to think that it's women gender role. But the reality is that it will get to a certain point, we might not even be alive for that, but it might get to a certain point when parliament has more women than men. And this gender role will help men then. So it's just that for now, women are the ones who are disadvantaged. But let's think about in the future, since the future is female anyway, there's a time when women will be more in parliament. And when women will be more in parliament, men will want the two-third gender rule.
They will be marginalized at that time. I wish you knew how much problems we had when we were doing civic education on the Constitution on that particular note. But people are not seeing it as far as you're saying, but it cuts both ways. That next ilikuwa na msifanya rigging because Masese is not here. Yeah. Right? Don't do. Uangalie, wakifanya rigging uniambie. Aya, twende kazi.
So about the youth also. First of all, the best model for youth, meaningful youth participation is youth-adult partnership. You must work with adults because mentorship is very necessary for young people to get to know how things are done, especially when it comes to economic empowerment and all the others. The other thing is integration of these interventions. For example, youth have so many challenges, reproductive health challenges, economic challenges. When it comes to politics, they are clueless. And that's why online meeting, the 6 million new voters, the ones who finished Form 4 since the last election, to the ones who are going to click for going to vote, and they don't know the political history. So the other thing is that we need to empower them, and the best way to empower and sensitize young people is you go where they are. We know, and evidence shows they are on social media. We have Kina Morris hapa, the influencers. They also need to be trained on how they can do that which you have resolved on the political education, so that they can pass these messages to all the other young people who are busy on their smartphones. Now you want after Wi-Fi, so that they get to know. I think that is the best way forward on how we
That is one of the ways. Huh? And we take blame. We are your parents. We take blame because we never mentored you well. You heard Masese saying that we've listened to Koigi from way back. But you guys tuliwapoteza kidogo. So we take blame. Eh? But the youth also needs to be proactive. Because when we were your age, na tukukuwa na nini mingi, lakini tulikuwa tunatafuta hawa wazee. Nyinyi hamtutafuti. Lakini pia sisi tuna take blame as your parents because we failed somewhere. There's somewhere we failed. So there's a generation that we are losing in terms of, we denied you what? The history. We lived through that history. We lived what you call history now. So we lived through some of that. So I agree that our generation also, who are parents of the youth, especially the ones who are in their late teens and early 20s, we lost you because we didn't mentor you properly. So we also need to take part of the blame. But it is not a it's not a unilateral one-way thing. The challenges that the youth are confronting today require, they are complex challenges that also require complex solutions. We cannot just say one thing. Hatuwezi kuambia to go to social media or get the companies. So what about if I'm a youth who is not business oriented? So even if you give me all the inaitwa uwezo fund, youth fund, or whatever, even if you give me those millions, na mimi sio mfanyi biashara. Nani amesema lazima kila youth akuwe mfanyi biashara? Na kama mimi nataka kuwa mkulima, ama mimi nataka kufanya another thing, then when you give it to me to do business, you want me to do certain types of business. I want to invest in IT. You are telling me you are giving me business as the county to go and dig trenches. Maybe I'm a youth who is not interested in digging trenches. I want to invest in online or something of that sort. So, ninawaambia, for the youth, the challenges that the youth are facing, they are complex, and we require to face them with complex solutions. We need to sit down, talk soberly. We talk, and we also include the youth. We don't sit somewhere as old men and women and say that this is what is good for the youth. because we come from different generations. The way we see things is not the way you see things. But if we sit down together, we will come up with the solutions. Hiyo ilikuwa namba ngapi? Ya mwisho ni kulikuwa na mkono mwingine pande. Ni pande, this side, who was it?
Yeah.
Aya,
I
go.
was to add on what you just said, because you talked about the reason why these ways of funds can't help the youth is because they are not involved, and we can't wait for the government to come and involve us. We've been left at the periphery for long. We need to be at the core. The government should stop talking about the youth. It should stop talking to the youth. Instead, they should reason with us, talk with us, not to talk to us. Thank you.
Very good. You are not on the periphery. You are Nambia youth. You are not on the periphery. You are not marginalized. You are excluded. Mnamshikange hiyo. You know periphery means uko pale pembeni. Hamuko bana. You are not at the periphery, my friend. You are not marginalized. You are excluded, meaning uko nje. You are outside. Sasa tunajaribu kuwarudisha ndani. If you are at the periphery, it would have been a bit better. But you are not even there. You are in a worst place. Nje, out, excluded. Sijui nitumie majina gani mengine. Next one. Who is the next one? Okay.
Allow me to stand,
Yes.
because I'm short.
Yes.
When you talk about tusemeni uku ina mambo ya distribution of funds or resources, youths what tunaambiwa tu tunaikoa generally kama with women, si ndio? Hatuambiagi ati this particular tuseme ni 5% ni ya youth peke yake. For example, the 30% ya tenda ambayo kwamba tunafaa kupatiwa tumewekwa youth, women and disability. Portion yetu ni gani hapo? That is the question that we need to keep on asking ourselves vile tulikuwa tumeongea on Tuesday. So as we go out of here, we need to sit down and re-strategize ourselves and ask this question. Hii 30% ya youth ni ngapi exactly? Tusiko tunaambiwa tu kuna 30% ya youth, women and PWD, si ndio? Then the other issue ambayo kwamba youth wanatumika sana, ukiangalia rate ya mental health na drug and substance abuse iko very high in Nakuru County, si ndio? But most of us, we don't want to talk about the matters of mental health and drug and substance abuse. And utakuta wanasiasa wengi watatumia wale vijana wengi ambao kwamba kwa madawa, ama ule kijana ambao kwamba kiakili hayuko sawa atamtumia ili enda afanye nini? Azue vurugu. So we need to re-strategize ourselves as we go towards the coming elections, ndio? Na mkumbuke vote bila noma.
Aya, next ilikuwa nani? Ilikuwa hapa eh? Hapa the lady. Amenua saa hii. What? Jamaa amefanya nini tena?
Nimetafuta sana hii. Nimetafuta sana. Wacha.
Haya, umefanyiwa rigging lakini ufanya upesi.
No, but I will vote for him if
all right.
He has better policies than than
other
people. So I want to say, as a person who has experience about the 30% of tenders and contracts, because there's a time we had a Kanban, we were 13 of us.
When youth?
No, during that time.
Huh?
I'm now.
Youth. All right.
Yes, I'm now 35. Huh?
You're 35 now?
Yes, but
right.
when we registered a Kanban, I was around 25.
Okay.
So to get a tender is not a walk in the back. It's not a walk in the back. We applied for quite a number of, in fact 78. It was the secretary. We couldn't get even one. We were pre-qualified. In fact, we received a pre-qualification letter from the county government of Nakuru. But then we used to have Ms. Masaku, Elizabeth Masaku, as the procurement officer. When we received that letter, we don't know what happened. After that letter, after receiving the letter, we do not know what happened. So, what happens? Like these politicians, they register their children and their wives and their girlfriends. So after registering these, their children, their girlfriends and they get some the people with disabilities, you know, they just give them tenders and the contracts. So
Solution from your experience, what is the solution?
I've just
time, Baba.
Okay. What I've just given a piece of advice to the youths, maybe while planning to
start
register
companies.
And apply for contracts in the government.
Yes.
So I'm just telling them that it's not a walk in the park.
Yes.
To get a government contract.
Tender. Na hata ukipata inaweza kosa kulipwa.
Just be prepared.
Haya.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Leta huku hivi. This wewe ugeto wewe umeinua. Hujaongea?
Asante sana, sijaongea kabisa.
Haya. Quickly.
Nilikuwa nauliza one question. Where do we find the youth? We need to do what they call stakeholders engagement.
Where do we
find these youth that we want to empower? We find them.
Kwanza sijui kwa nini walikaa nyuma.
This 1/10 maybe. I'm saying the young people are scattered everywhere outside there. We need to do what they call stakeholders engagement. One, we have all the key people that works around the young people. We have the security, where you are very close. We have the church. We need to have those leadership of those big stakeholders. We hold the meeting with the people who gives command in the same kind of a cluster, so that we can engage the young people from that level, so that we may reach them out and help them. Thank you.
Sawa tutawafikia. Lakini wako hapa hivi na tuko nao kwa nyumba. This lady. Si ndio? Alafu Vini, you are the last one. Okay. Very quickly. Very quickly.
Okay, I think we are deviating. We are supposed to look at the way forward generally from what we've a reflection from today. I was actually really inspired by Koigi Wamwere, because I was just reflecting on these are what we are enjoying right now. These are the sacrifices which was done 50 years ago. So my question to the young people here is, it is just a challenge. Do we really still have Koigi Wamweres? Are we in that position to be jailed or detained for 14 years for the sake of that generation to come to get the freedom that they will have? Thank you so much.
And by the way, that generation of freedom fighters, they are getting finished. There is a time we used to have forums when we were young, and we would call Koigi, we would call Merugi, we would call Mwidaga, we would call Mtaa Kangu, we would call them and listen to them. But now they are wanaenda wakiisha. So we need to make use of them while they are still around. Vincent, very quickly.
So mine will be focused on us, especially in terms of values. Every now and then we...
Who is us?
Us, the people. We can't be the young people, we can't be the women, we can't be men, but basically us as citizens. We have been focusing so much on blaming those who have elected that they are not adhering to moral code of conduct. But if we look within us, do we aspire or do we follow the morals? For instance, let's say when you buy a credit, when you buy a credit card in a shop or a supermarket, where do you litter
that karatasi,
that card that you are scratching? So not tu chini ukitoka kwa duka. That is not exactly what we need to live by. Me personally, I don't litter. Hata ukiangalia mfuko zangu ninakuwa na hizo na naweka alafu naenda kutupa. So I think a citizen, kila mahali mimi nikienda na kula takataka ziko zimetapakaa, ni kitu ambayo inauma sana, because we cannot expect government to be everywhere na waweze kukota hizo takataka. It must start within us to ensure that we don't litter.
Sawa.
So every time...
Nataka kukata, my friend, kwa sababu ya time.
Sawa.
I think you've made the point.
Yeah,
and the point is, what he's saying in a nutshell is that it begins with you as an individual. Mimi kama Mkenya, si tunasema tunajipatia hii katiba. There's another one, Masese, sasa unafanya rigi. Okay. Sawa. Inakuja ikikuja kabisa. Haya, tunakupa muda mfupi.
Okay, I was having a request as the youths were here. We were requesting if before we leave this place, you can give us the forum because we need your support as the youths, and that is what we want. And we know they always say it's the same scripture, but different narrators. They will come, the same things they used to lure us in 2017 is the same thing they are going to use next year. So us as the youth, we want to be seen up front. And we can't fight without you guys. So we don't want to leave this place without having the access to you people who are supposed to be guiding us. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right. Now what I will tell you is this. I know najua mnapenda hapo mnapenda hapo. What I'll tell you is this. From us who run programs, huwa tunakuwa na mutaratara. Sasa vile tunataka kufanya, vile tutafanya. Mutaratara kwa watu wengine ni plan, si ndio? So for the youth, what we'll tell you, we now have your contacts. Wenye mko hapa. Tutaenda tutajipanga. There are several organizations here. So what we are going to do is we'll sit down because right now we have no specific activity that we had earmarked. Hii ni ya kuongea na youth ama hii ni ya kupanga hizo shida za youth. And we need to sit down and plan. So we will do that and then we will contact you. We cannot just decide like this, because organizations need to plan. We need to allocate resources. It costs something to bring you here in this hotel. It costs the organizations. And they have budgets. The budgets might be a bit rigid. They have no space. Masese. Ati? Virtual. We have all the ideas, but we will work with what the commitment we are giving is, because we as parents, as people who went before you, we also take part of the blame in your predicament. Hiyo kizungu mingi inasema sisi ni wazazi wenu. Na pia sisi, ikiwa nyinyi kama vijana mmefail, hata sisi kuna mahali tuliteleza kama wazazi. Na kwa hivyo, kupata suluhisho, itakuwa ni jukumu la kila mtu. Pia sisi tutachangia, na tutafanya kazi pamoja, na vile Toroi teacher alisema pale tufanye, we will not be talking at the youth or to the youth. We will talk with the youth. But we will need to sit down and plan and talk with the kina Masese here. See how we can program for such a space, even as we go into the elections. And pray that you are going to be inspired and not guided by other extraneous matters in terms of how you choose to vote. Tuko pamoja. Where is that lady? Ako wapi? Is that good enough for you? You are the ambassador. Na mjumbe hawawi anapatiwa majibu. Ni kusema ya kwamba tutaketi chini kama mashirika, tutajadiliana jinsi ambavyo tuta engage the youth, alafu we'll get back to you. But we promise to walk the journey with you, so that we address the complex challenges that the youth are facing, and see, can we come up with something that will start chipping away at those ones, making youth inclusion, ensuring that access to opportunities, not just business opportunities, but all kinds of opportunities are available to the youth. work with the government at both levels to see that youth are included, because that is one of the biggest challenges. Now, Masese, you have passed through that document. Iko wapi? Because you have been holding the microphone for a long time. I want to give Masese the chance to wind it up. Omondi is engaged elsewhere. So, shika hapa.
Barasa ameongea.
Very quickly, I feel happy when I hear the youth bringing out issues. Even me, I was a youth. In 2006, we had a meeting with the late Mirugi Karaoke, Koigo Amwere, and Katolo Metito. It was because that meeting, that's when Koigi was not in of that when stand. And Katolo, the governor for Isiolo, from Britain and Ghana. In Ghana, they have a full-fledged ministry for the youth, and Britain too. Unlike us in Kenya, by that time, we had any ministry or department in regard to the youth issues. After 2007 election, we had a ministry, a full-fledged ministry for the youth, but now we don't have one. And Uhuru Ruto wrote on the plight of the youth during the election campaign. But when they ascended to power, they never came up with even a single ministry for the youth. It's just a department in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. What I'm saying is this: nature will never give you what you deserve, but it will give you what you demand. Fight for your space, and all it will be well. Finally, let us not go for the big things. Let us just be realistic. For instance, hapa Nakuru kuna hivi vibanda mingi imejengwa. Ni vijana wangapi wamepewa hiyo vibanda kutumia kuuza? And do you know who owns those vibanda saizi? What they are paying for the county government in a year, they are only paying 3,000. But the fellow who has been hired out that kibanda analipa 160,000 per year. And these are the same people who will come to look for a vote from the youth, and yet hawangali mambo yetu. There is so many avenues the youth can exploit to get opportunities, kama sporting activities and what have you. Kwa hivyo, tusiende mambo ya juu sana. If the law has not been met, the higher cannot. Tuanzie tu mambo ya chini. A good example, tukiweza kutekeleza mambo madogo hapa ya chini, hati ya juu tutaweza. Na kila kitu kitakuwa sawa. Thank you.
Sawa. Baraza, asante sana. Tutaanzia yale mambo madogo. Na hiyo madogo, you know, when we talk of youth, tunaanza kusema tutawapea mipira. Sijui tutawapea pesa ya biashara kidogo. Na sijui muanze kufikiria tutapanua hiyo tusiwapee tu mpira. Ati umesema nini? Wheelbarrow. Siko hapo. Nasema mpira. Sawa. Anyway, as we wind up, during the constitution making times that Dr. Bosire took us through in the morning, there was a certain professor alikuwa anaitwa Professor Hastings Okoth Ogendo. Yeah. He said one thing. He's got a lot of articles that he has written about law. But there's one thing that he said in particular. He told Kenyans, you will get a constitution, but there is a question of constitutionalism. The constitution you will get, but until you get constitutionalism, that is when we will start solving that is when the constitution itself will start being helpful to us. From where Vincent has contributed about personal responsibility. Hata hii katiba yenyewe iko in black and white. Professor Guy ensured that it was written in a language English. Nimesikia wengine wakicomplain hapa kuhusu Kizungu. Sisi tulisoma Kizungu. Huyu hapa ni mwalimu wa Kizungu, English and Literature. I was a teacher of mathematics, lakini ninajua Kizungu. And what we say is this: the constitution, the way it is written, anybody with an understanding of English of slightly above 0 can read that document and understand what it says. You do not need to be a linguist. You do not need to have a degree. You just need to have knowledge of English. You can read it. You can understand it. And when you read it, then you can start to learn how to use it to actualize or solve some of the challenges that you have as youth, as older people, and so on. So let us go back. Leo ni siku ya katiba. Turudi kwa hiyo document tuisome, tufanye utafiti. You can even download it as an app on your phone, then read it, and then start using it. Learn to start using it. So now I'll give the microphone to Masese. Masese, you give us, way forward, eh? Sawa, kabla Omondi akuja tufungie. Karibu.
Next 5 minutes. We are getting to the closing. And, thanks Omondi. Jana wale ambao walikuwa kwa mtadara ambao thank you Leonard, eh? Kwa wale ambao walikuwa nimefika point yangu ya kublock, eh? Yeah. So if I say things that are not here and are elsewhere, you understand. When we discussed elections and constitutionalism, eh? And I remember one of the panelists explained it so well. And Finicent and the colleague here, Leonard, have also added. So what I'm going to tell you is, today was a brainstorm. Tumeongea mambo mengi. One lesson I've picked is that perhaps we need to make this a one topic agenda. Today we've discussed the Constitution, but the Constitution is 18 chapters. So we picked critical issues, but we need to do, as a lesson, we need to have a single issue agenda. And I'm seeing the need for us to engage people based on the issues that they hold dear to themselves. And so moving forward, I'm trying to solidify some of the proposals. I see there's a need. Rukia put it so well. There's a need for us to do more and more political education at the grassroots. And we are not going to tie this to the 2022 elections. We need to do this on a continuous basis. You know, a few of you in this room, hawajui ile historia, not a few, so many of you don't know what happened in the 1990s. Perhaps you are aware of what has happened 2010 coming upwards. So even when we are talking about the struggle for this new constitution, perhaps it's not as many as ourselves who know what it took. So that's the responsibility we have, Gedai. Me, I refuse to take blame. You said you take blame. Me, I refuse to take blame as a parent. I've done my bit. I have done what I was supposed to do. I have created opportunities. Baraza carried me on a bicycle in 2006 to a place called Ngesumini, to a full gospel church. Baraza, if you can remember, when you were creating awareness on CDF. The people of Rongai voted out a member of parliament who was abetting theft of CDF monies, Baraza Ruka Kigen, because of the work we did in our youth. So as a youth, I did what I was supposed to do. So it behoves young people also to go out of their way. So Gedai, I am saying this very deliberately, but with a lot of politeness. These young people here have got a lot of very critical ideas, very transformation ideas, very revolutionary ideas. Put them to practice. Put them to practice. The young lady who spoke here, she just pricked my heart, and I was like, yes, this is the energy we want to see. But that energy, you must bring it out. Well, we are committing to hold your hands. The commitment must come from you. Iyo nayo, I will say it as plainly as that. As plainly as that. That's number one. So, deepened political education, not civic education, political education. And I know when Joseph comes to speak, he'll say more about the plans we have been developing around political education. Katiba iko online. We don't print Katibas anymore because a lot of us have Android and these other phones. Access the constitution and download it. Katiba ikae kwa phone yako so that you refer to it every time. And then the other bit is that we'll be more deliberate as civil society, as those who went before you, as Gedai put it, to create spaces for you. And that's why I like it, that Midrift, if you look at the people who work for Midrift, I think probably it's Omonda and Gedai who are above that 5 years. And the madam we do the gender program with. Majority of the staff at Midrift are young people. Midrift has given opportunity for young people to do internships and attachments. And so have we. So those are the spaces. That's what mentorship is all about. And then I realized today we made a mistake. Now for that I will apologize. Ian apologize. The panelists we had here, the people who are running this program, number one, all of us were men. Yeah? Bancy was one, all of us were men. Number two, we were not deliberate in giving youth the platform to express themselves. Within that, we should have included a youth-focused agenda in our program. So now that we have apologized, the only way we can demonstrate that we are serious about this matter is that we are going to have a safe space for youth. That I can commit you in the organization where I work. Vincent, you are here. Organize a forum specifically for this youth year within the next 2 or 3 weeks, if you can. We don't struggle. That forum, we'll afford a venue and probably we'll afford some lunch. So if you are ready for that, your own safe space to consolidate the youth issues, please do so. In this month, we usually run what we call Democracy and Governance Festival. So there's going to be something called Voices in Space, Your Space or EPA. You know that space? It's coming. We've already started planning. We want you to come with your issues, articulate them, provide solutions. Let's stop lamenting. I keep telling colleagues that I've never been youth, and I believe I've never been youth. I never enjoyed the luxury of youth. And so I can't mentor you. You can only walk with me and see how things are done, and so that you can do them. But it must come from your heart. Now, the issue of gender equality and women, that we must tie it to elections. I don't believe kwamba women are their own enemies. No. We have weakened. We have done everything to stop women from rising to leadership. And so I am challenging the men in this house. Are you committing to be champions for women empowerment? Bunge la Wananchi, when you meet to discuss the issues, do you ever reflect on how we can promote representation for women? I would wish that we pick it. Lastly, Katiba Day is a civil society agenda. We want to make it a government agenda. Moriah challenged me in the morning. I was on the radio, and he wrote a long text. And the long and short, he said, we need to make Katiba Day one of the national days. And he reminded me, we actually made Mashujaa Day a national day. Among you don't know, I know you know. We were arrested, all 71 of us. We were arrested and not taken to police station. Mimi nilishikwa nikapeleka Kiambu kwa prison. Kiambu unashikwa Uhuru Park, unapelekwa Kiambu. Now, we wanted Kenyatta Day, ni Kenyatta Day. To change ndio ikuwe Mashujaa Day. See, today tuko na Mashujaa Day kwa Katiba. So we can actually make Katiba Day another national day. But we must start asking for that. So that we always remind each other, and including our leaders, that this is the day to reflect on how far we are in terms of implementing the Constitution. The other agenda is budget monitoring, practical things. Budget monitoring. Make it your business to ask where your money is going. Si huko unaishi kuna mradi ya umma inafanywa. When you see that caravan being made, that's your money being spent. Don't be so indifferent. Unapita tu as if it doesn't. So to speak on a more softer tone, iko hivi. Hii nchi ni yako na ni yangu, tutaibadilisha tukitaka. Hiyo slogan si ya bottom up, side to side, trickle down. I don't know which other one will be coming because there will be many. They are just that, slogans. What will change this country is the step you decide to take today as an individual. Tuko pamoja? With that, I now wish to request Mr. Mondi atufungie mkutano tuende nyumbani, tufikirie weekend. Na wale wenye kuna mpango ya weekend mnaweza niona. Niko hapa.
Asante sana Masese na okay, Leonard and Bancy for stepping in. I was just having a conversation with the Nairobi Convention. You know, they wanted us to link live with them, lakini niliona nitawastia time. Na sisi pia tulikuwa na agenda yetu. Sababu masuala ambayo tulikuwa tunaongea hapa ni muhimu na ni yetu ya kanda hii katika jimbo hili. So what a birthday. So we have had Dr. Bosire here, we have had Koigi here, Bancy also was here, and my colleagues. But what we say is that this celebration is an event, but the implementation of the Constitution is a process. And that means that tuko na kazi ya kila siku kuzingatia kwamba na kuangalia kwamba katiba imetekelezwa. And therefore, from today, my request will be that if you go to a government office, ask one question: does that government officer have a constitution? He cannot be pretending to be serving us. We are paying him a salary, na hajui natakuwa na anihudumie vipi. Because we have a bloated workforce that has never embraced this new constitution. So they are still having an old mindset. That is not a mindset that can implement this constitution. Most of them even do not know what this constitution is all about. Even those people working in the county, they don't know what devolution was all about. Because the bulk of the people in this county government were inherited by the from the former councils. So the mindset is still the same. So unless we change that mindset, some of the promises in the chapter on devolution will not be achieved. There was this issue of public participation at the county level, which has now been turned into a public relations exercise. There was the promise of self-governance. How are we involved? There was the promise of issues of inclusivity. There was a promise of issues about to do with diversity. Recently I saw there was a lady who was employed there. The county government pretending to be bringing diversity, but the youths were annoyed about it. So that's the conversation we need to have. But the youth should have a reasonable conversation. It's not about one of us being in a position. It's about what is in the budget that is going to push for programs in that particular docket. You can have somebody there, but that person has been set for failure. The way currently you are having an advisor of the governor who is a youth. So unless these positions are accompanied by a budget, then the county sits down with the youth. They talk about programs that will generate wealth, that will create employment for the youth. Issues about positions does not matter. So to me, that's how people should engage. And the youth should be taught techniques of street warfare and techniques of boardroom warfare, because both of them are required in this battle. To the youth again, you have 11 months to decide who should govern you. Have you done an audit of what is wrong and what can be done? Or we are waiting for a few months to see you in lorries ya waheshimiwa, nyinyi ndo ma-MC. Saa hii mtasikiza sana, lakini in a few months hamushikiki. So that's a hard conversation we need to have. Because every politician anakuwa anasema mimi nina vijana wangu. Mimi nina vijana wangu. Niko na jeshi. So because the politicians have one strategy, keep them poor, buy them cheap. That's their strategy. So we need to really think. Let us be selfish as the youth and say what is in it for us in your government. Interrogate policies. Interrogate manifestos. Have a firm position. Ask questions, hard questions. When somebody tells you, I'll do A, B, C, D, ask him a follow-up question. Utatoa pesa wapi? It's not about promising. Where do you get money? If the bottom has no money, how can it be bottom up? And the bottom is poor. The bottom is you. This country has only 3 tribes. This is ingine ni story. Walalahoi, Walalahai, na Walalaheri. Those are the only 3 tribes we have. Unapata Mlalahoi anadharau Mlalahoi mwenzake. On those few remarks, I invite you guys to continue celebrating this baby, but push so hard so that we feel the full fruits of devolution by making sure that it's finally implemented, because one, it's under threat. The national government is not interested in the full functioning of the devolved government. It's giving counties money late. If you do business with the county governments, kuna delayed in makontrakta kulipwa pesa. Saa zingine sio makosa ya county. Ni pesa imechelewa serikali kuu. Bado tunalipa China. Tulipe China kwanza, ndio pesa inabaki, ndio sasa tuletewe katika majimbo zetu za ugatuzi. Health docket is devolved, lakini bado pesa tunawacha huko Nairobi, ndio tuenjoy pesa za KEMSA. Agriculture is devolved, lakini bado sisi kama serikali kuu bado tuko na galana kulalu. So haya maswala, we cannot achieve if we have a docile society. It's just waiting for mana kuanguka pale na kuokota. Haitakuwa hivyo. So if it means kicking you the way I kicked ile kuku ya kutoka Msamaria Mwema, we need to do it. How many of you, because I've seen here you come from sectors, you come from institutions, you come from networks. Unaweza niitia vijana niwape elimu kuhusu maisha vile tutasonga mbele, na wasiniambie fomu ya leo ni vipi? Because the problem is, Rukia here has information, anaweza share na vijana. Tunaelewa? She has programs engaging the youths. Tunaelewa? Ngoka hapa. Ndio ngoka. So kuna programs hai. Yeah. Tunaelewa? Lakini shida ni moja, mimi nimekuja kufunza, tena mimi ndo nakulipa. So what I'll do, I'll remain with my information in my office. Hapo sitaki shida. So we think big, start small. How do we start small? Wewe kama Serious One, uko na group yako ya wamama, enesha injili pale. Wewe kama ni mtu wa kanisa, ama uko na msikiti, enesha injili pale, omba nafasi pale. Boda boda, ukikuwa na nafasi, eneza injili pale. Because if we commercialize injili, injili haitafika mahali popote. Mtume Muhammad na Mtume Isa hawakutumia pesa kuhubiri, lakini injili tufikia na information ya Quran pia ilitufikia. Kenya ya leo, kama wewe ni Muislamu, nitakuwa na usome vitabu mbili kwa makini. Usome Quran na usome katiba ya Kenya. Katiba ya Kenya itakuwezesha kuishi hapa duniani bora, na hiyo ingine itakupeleka mbinguni. Kama wewe ni Mkristo, usome nini? Biblia kama wewe ni Mkristo. Na moja inakupeleka mbinguni, moja inakuonyesha vile utaishi na Wafarisayo hapa. That's the only thing we need to do. Thank you guys. I know you are tired. It's late, lakini kuna chai. Najua wenye tulikuwa hapa Tuesday, tulipata nauli nono kiasi kidogo. Lakini because we are generous tuliitana, itapunguka kidogo, msinipeleke Hague. Thank you. Nani atatuombea mkutano, tumalize mkutano wa leo? Ramla unaombaga? Ama Waislamu wa mama waruhusiwi? Alifanya na anthem? It talks longer. It's worthy. National anthem ni wagani ama maombi ni wagani? Ogeto nasikia ni kijana bishop.
Thank you. Tuombe. Tusimame tuombe because tunamaliza. Kuna kuendelea kwa tena mafundisho. Aya, tuombe kwa jina la Baba, la Mwana, Roho Mtakatifu. Amina. Mungu, tunakushukuru kwa neema na upendo wako. Umetujalia sisi kama watoto wako ambaye tuko na nia njema. Kwa njia yetu pia na kutetea katiba yetu kwa ajili ya yale mengi umetuwekea hapo ndani ili tupate kusaidia watu wetu wote. Tunakuomba neema zako zituongoze. Utusaidia katika mawazo mazuri tunapojenga taifa lako na pia tukifanya kazi. Tunaomba upate kutukinga na magonjwa ya COVID-19. Utulinde vyema. Tukiendelea kutumikia Mungu, tuendelee kushukuru zaidi. Tupe neema, tupatanishe. Tupe mwelekeo katika majadiliano zetu kwa kila wakati tunapopatana kama mashirika, na popote pale umetupea assignments za kufanya. Tukiondoka hapa, tembea pamoja nasi na utuongoze ili tuendelee kutumikia kila wakati. Tunaomba yote kwa njia ya Kristo aliye Bwana mkombozi wetu. Kwa jina la Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Amina.
Please have a seat.